So I want to dip into, I have a little mindfulness book. If I can't do all of it, and it might be 5 hours worth of work, I do none of it rather than doing an hour and an hour and an hour and an hour.
Coming up with action. So for me, it's like taking smaller actions that will lead to outcomes, not imagining they're big, they're small.
Some of those decisions are quite important to the outcome of your day.
Mine's normally, do I have a shower today or not?
That doesn't surprise me.
Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here for another week on the podcast, as always with my very good friends Jose Noya and Ryan Boniface. How are we doing this week, guys?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Yeah, good, thanks, Lee.
Glad to hear it, and of course thanks everyone out there for listening, watching us on YouTube, listening across podcast players, all that good stuff. We appreciate you. If you like what you're hearing, if you're new or if you've been with us for a while, hit that 5-star button, leave a comment, tell friends and family, share on social media. It's all great stuff. Seek us out at listen to TOIN.
Oh, sorry about this, I just realised.
Oh no, what's going on, Joe? Have we got technical difficulties already?
No, they can't hear on TikTok.
Oh,
So now
I missed all of that goodness. If you want to join us on TikTok, by the way, sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Wednesday, give or take, around about 5:30, 6 o'clock. Follow Joe on TikTok. It will give you a notification when it's there. Just look for Noya_Inspiration or InspirationNation. Which one is it, Joe? I can't read it all on my screen.
InspirationNation.
There we go. Look for us and you can see what is going on. So this week, the topic wheel is back to my good self, and I'd like to continue following my last one. Something we've talked about a lot and something we've been into last year, but my more conscious thing of mindfulness, and I'd like to take another little journey around some mindfulness tips. Be a good opportunity. I'll give an update. I've got a very good practical example from yesterday on my mindset about not judging, not presuming judgment from other people, etc., which did test me a little bit, I would say, but that's a little tease. We'll get to that later in the show. So I want to dip into, I have a little mindfulness book here.
Oh, wow. Lee, you got a book there. Oh, wow, I like this.
I've had this for a while. Someone else bought this for me. I didn't buy it, but I do. It's very good. It's lots of little bite-sized chunks, plays to my buffet mentality, and I like it. This is where I got the mindfulness eating thing that we talked about the other week, where I talked about my brother's horrendously stressful habit of eating cereal standing up before he runs out the door. Gives me palpitations just thinking about it. I can see Ryan shaking his head in disgust as well. That's what I like to see. If he's listening, you know we're talking about you. So this particular tip, and I'll read it out from what it says in the book here. It'd be good to get some thoughts on it. I've got a slightly different slant on it in a different way as well. This says, making your mind up. When we procrastinate and distract ourselves with busyness, we avoid engaging with the real thing, our lives. Mindfulness helps us become really present, so we respond wisely to a challenge and experience each moment as it unfolds. Now, I will say for myself, if I'm in, and we've talked about different states of mind and stuff, when I'm in work mode, I think I'm a doer. I'm very decisive. I make decisions. I know where we're going. I like to make stuff happen. I've had some feedback recently that confirms that that's definitely still the case, and that's where I am. I think when I'm not in work mode, I tend to procrastinate a bit more. And it's funny that I have the two differences, and I think I'm kind of more aware of that, and I want to try and use some of this stuff to try and be a bit more decisive and make things happen, and not have a big mental to-do list in my head that's only there because I'm just not getting on and doing things. And usually, I think we talked the other week about how I want to do this approach where it's, have a real or metaphorical, it's still not real yet as in written down, but a list of things to do, and just make sure, even if it's one a day, that I'm just chipping things off. Or even, I think I said to you guys before, if I can't do all of it, and it might be 5 hours worth of work, I do none of it rather than doing an hour and an hour and an hour and an hour. And I want to keep pushing that discipline more and more. And I think, the mindfulness thing, being present, being in the moment, just looking at what you've got to do there are some things that can really help me with that. But I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what you think about, the positives of making a decision and going rather than kind of sitting on them and the options and the stress that can bring.
Yeah, I do. I really do a bit of that as well. I think at the minute a lot of stuff that's going on for me is that I am procrastinating a little bit in my private life, and things are a bit slower in my work life at the moment. But it's like you said about reflecting and coming up with action. So for me, it's like taking smaller actions that will lead to outcomes. Not imagining they're big; they're small, so they're doable. And you get that little rush of, oh, I did that. It's a little thing, but it leads to the bigger thing eventually. So, talking about mindfulness, I've been slacking my meditation, but I've been really I have to ramp that back up again. So I've been doing about 5 to 10 minutes this morning to put it off, because obviously what happened, you did the previous podcast, what's been happening recently in my life. But that's led me to really go to comfort. And so going back to your point on decisions and making, and decision making, that's something definitely that I think works. But I think it just, in my mind, it's just got to be a small decisions that you can make. And I'm very much about this podcast about, people talk about massive things, but it's all about the daily things. And I think that's what you're talking about, rightly, because that's what you're thinking about.
That's more what I'm, it's not saying everything should just be impulsive on the spur of the moment, but it's really easy to let. And I will say that sometimes, and I'm conscious of this, there will be everyday things. So I'll get up in the morning, and I've said about having this time in the morning to get stuff done, and I've fallen into a routine that includes things like doing the washing up, changing the litter for the cats, day-to-day stuff that needs doing. But if I did it later in the day, or I didn't do it then, it never goes away. There's always going to be those things to do. They're never complete. But I think sometimes I let a bit of that busyness get in the way of doing something that is that one-off activity, that when it's completed. And I'm just, so I say, I like all this stuff. I'm definitely trying to embrace it more and more, and push myself a little bit. And I think I can definitely see, and I didn't really think about this till now, but I can definitely see myself sometimes falling into that trap.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's easy to fall into, actually. And one thing that I've tried to do is, if I'm doing routine things, and that is where I just try to do them in a mindful way, rather than just doing it automatic pilot. Like if I am going to empty the dishwasher, this is what I talk about, I'm going to do that in a mindful way, that I'm taking them out and recognizing what I'm doing, so I'm in the moment. But also I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I want to make sure that if I'm going to load the dishwasher, the best way I'm going to do it, most efficient, most best way. Anything I do might be routine. It's bringing your mind into it. But also you can do if you're going to do the washing up, doing it the best washing up possible you could do in that moment. And that's the sort of thing that brings me back to doing those everyday tasks of being mindful and present. That's what I'm.
And that is a core part of this, isn't it? It's just being in that very moment for that time. And I did it today, and I did overcome one. So I say overcome. It wasn't a real, but I had a picture that I needed to hang.
Right.
And I tried using the no more nails type sticky things, put it on the wall, didn't like it. I knew it was going to be the case. Because it was in the bathroom and it was going to get wet and it's going to fall. I thought I'd give it a go anyway. And then it's been sitting at the top of the stairs staring at me every time I walk past. Now I did it. It took 10 minutes. I'm going to say 15 at the most. But every time I didn't do it, in my head, it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was just that pull the plaster off, do it, feeling of achievement. And sort of, I link that into the making your mind up. And this is my slant on it. Is sometimes it's not just, am I going to paint the wall green? Am I going to paint it blue? Just pick one and get it done. It's also the little jobs and the putting them off and deciding, yes, I'm going to do it. And yes, rather than, I've got 10 to do, when I'm going to do them all, it's like one.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a really good way. Ryan, I know we've been talking for a bit. What are your thoughts on this?
I think for kind of bigger decisions, it's good to take that kind of time, because they will come day to day as well. I don't know, what am I going to have for dinner, or
that's an important decision. I don't minimize that.
am I going to go out tonight and socialize, or am I going to spend the evening at home? If I am spending it at home, you know, what am I watching on Netflix, whatever. Some of those decisions are quite important to the outcome of your day, right? Because you can really start to look forward to those things in the morning if you make that decision early on. So being mindful that kind of decisions that don't feel like big ones, that are bigger than just the standard, do I have a shower before or after this meeting or whatever, is like are still relatively important to you.
Mine's normally, do I have a shower today or not?
That doesn't surprise me. But I think, you know, because they can affect the outcome of your day, right? Like if you decide to go out and you're going to the pub or whatever, or you're going out for dinner, or you know whatever you're going to do, then it's kind of okay. So I need to make sure that I finish work at a certain time to be able to get ready and prep and kind of be ready to do that. Do I have anything on at home that I need to do before I go? And those kind of decisions do need a bit of working out to be able to kind of make sure that they run smoothly. There are some people that I find the absolute devil that will just make plans and not consider how it affects the rest of their day. And if that works for those people, then that works for those people. But it's a very stressful life for me, and I couldn't live my life that way. But that doesn't mean that you should kind of sleep on those decisions or you know on how they affect you. There are a lot of day-to-day things that I do that I don't really consider being mindful about or for. If I'm cooking dinner or whatever, I won't take that time to kind of be in the present moment for that. I just go through the motions, but I don't feel like I need to be present, and I don't feel like I need to kind of be mindful for those things. If I was struggling with being happy in myself and life around me, then you know maybe I would. But generally, I don't need to rely on things like that. But that doesn't diminish the fact that some people will, and that's perfectly acceptable and something that we massively support. But everybody's different, right? So just being able to accept that and knowing that not everything that we talk about or everything that we preach that we do is going to work for you, and you just have to find in some ways your own path.
So I want to know now, what's your biggest takeaway? Don't forget to hashtag it with InspirationNation in the comments below, and make sure you commit to action. All right, thank you for checking it out. So don't forget to catch all our other Inspiration Nation podcast episodes right over here, so go check them out. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because that will tell you when your next video goes live by you hitting that amazing bell. So until next time, it's Inspiration Nation, and I'll see you right over there.